Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Srila Goraksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. नामचर श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुनि देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगा माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिर श्री पक्षवर्धिनी महाद्वादशी तिथि की जय। तिथि पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्री श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदांत नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तरभक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं त्वय्पायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो विनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणन्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितराङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्न वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. How come it's not letting me go to the chat? What the heck's going on? Anyways, my computer. My God, it's tripping out. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, Rup Manjari Didi, Gargaraji, Rajumna Prabhu, Rup Manjari, I already said Rup. Mantra Murti Mataji. Whoa, what's acting really weird? I wonder if this is affecting the stream at all. Let me try refreshing this page, because this is really strange. Oh, it's my whole computer is acting up. This is so bizarre. Okay. Wow, okay. This never happened before. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if you can see this, but one second. Let me try sharing my screen again. See how it's flashing like that? I wonder if this is a hardware problem or what. Anyhow, let's just see if we can... I think I might have to read from the book today, because my computer is just tripping. All right. So, can you see me? Because right now my screen is frozen. I don't know if it's... Okay, the stream is fine. Okay, but my screen is frozen. I'm going to have to read from the book though, because... Yeah, I'm just going to have to read from the book. Okay, for you guys only, the shared stream looks weird. Okay. Anyhow, my computer isn't working right now. It's really strange. I can't, so I'm going to just have to read from this book. One second. What verse are we reading up to today? We're reading up to... Okay, we're reading up to verse 2 in the next chapter. 6 to 20 in this chapter. Okay. So if you want to follow along though, you'll have to just go to database.io. Because, yeah. So let's just read what the verses that we previously read yesterday. In this chapter, the spotless character of King Nābhi, the oldest son of Agnitar, is described. Wanting to have sons, Maharaj Nābhi underwent severe austerities and penances. He performed many sacrifices along with his wife and worshipped Lord Vishnu, master of all sacrifices. Being very kind to his devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was very pleased with the austerities of Maharaj Nābhi. He personally appeared before the king in his four-handed feature, and the priests who were performing the sacrifices began to offer their prayers unto him. They prayed for a son like the Lord, and Lord Vishnu agreed to take birth in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Nābhi, and incarnate as King Rishabh. Sorry, guys. It's not, even my screen is frozen, Raseshwari Mataji. I can't, like my face right now, like it's stuck on the screen. Restart my computer? I could restart my computer, but I'm afraid that my computer just won't turn on or something. Yeah, would it be possible just to follow along online, betabase.com, because I don't know what's going to happen. So these are the previous verses we read. This is verse 1. Shukadev Goswami continued to speak. Maharaj Nābhi, the son of Agnidhra, wished to have sons, and therefore he attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the master and enjoyer of all sacrifices. Maharaj Nābhi's wife, Meru Devi, who had not given birth to any children at that time, also worshipped Lord Vishnu, along with her husband. In the performance of sacrifice, there are 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 1, by sacrificing valuable things or eatables. 2, by acting in terms of place. 3, by acting in terms of time. 4, by offering hymns. 5, by going through the priests. 6, by offering gifts to the priests. And 7, by observing the regulative principles. However, one cannot always obtain the Supreme Lord through this paraphernalia. Nonetheless, the Lord is affectionate to his devotees. Therefore, when Maharaj Nābhi, who was a devotee, worshipped and offered prayers to the Lord with great faith and devotion, and with a pure, uncontaminated mind, superficially performing some yajna in the line of pravargya, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to his affection for his devotees, appeared before King Nābhi in his unconquerable and captivating form with 4 hands. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his bodily beauty. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his beautiful body before his devotee. This body pleases the minds and eyes of the devotees. My computer is fully stuck. I don't even know if it's playing. I have to check and see if it's playing on if the stream is even going. This is so bizarre. Oh man, this is not a good time for my computer to be acting like this. I'm just going to see if anything's happening because I don't see anything on my computer. I'm just going to see if... Okay, it looks like the stream's working. Okay. So I'm just going to continue reading from this book though. And I might not be able to see your comments, so just, sorry about that. If you send me WhatsApp messages, though, I will be able to see those because I can just check my phone. Okay. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his beautiful body before his devotee. This body pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nābhi with 4 arms. He was very bright, and he appeared to be the best of all personalities. Around the lower portion of his body, he wore a yellow silken garment. On his chest was the mark of Shrivatsa, which always displays beauty. He carried a conch shell, lotus flower, disc, and club, and he wore a garland of forest flowers and the Kaustuva gem. He was beautifully decorated with a helmet, earrings, bangles, belt, pearl necklace, armlets, ankle bells, and other bodily ornaments, bedecked with radiant jewels. Seeing the Lord present before them, King Nābhi and his priests and associates felt just like poor people who have suddenly attained great riches. They received the Lord and respectfully bent their heads and offered him things in worship.
the priest began to offer prayers to the Lord, saying, O most worshipable one, we are simply your servants. Although you are full in yourself, please, out of your causeless mercy, accept a little service from us, your eternal servants. We are not actually aware of your transcendental form, but we can simply offer our respectful obeisances again and again, as instructed by the Vedic literatures and authorized acharyas. Materialistic living entities are very much attracted to the modes of material nature, and therefore they are never perfect. But you are above the jurisdiction of all material conceptions. Your name, form, and qualities are all transcendental and beyond the conception of experimental knowledge. Indeed, who can conceive of you? In the material world, we can perceive only material names and qualities. We have no other power than to offer our respectful obeisances and prayers unto you, the transcendental person. The chanting of your auspicious transcendental qualities will wipe out the sins of all mankind. That is the most auspicious activity for us, and we can thus partially understand your supernatural position. Okay, so this is where we read up to yesterday. Parijana Anuraga Virachita Shabala. Actually, I'm just going to read from the verse. Parijana Anuraga Virachita Shabala Sangshabda Salila Sita Kishalaya Tulasika Durvankurar Api Sambhritaya Saparyaya Kila Parama Paritushyasi. O Supreme Lord, you are full in every respect. You are certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices and in ecstasy bring you tulsi leaves, water, twigs bearing new leaves, and newly grown grass. This surely makes you satisfied. They bring you tulsi leaves, water, and twigs bearing new leaves. Interesting. And newly grown grass. This surely makes you satisfied. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One does not need great wealth, education, or opulence to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one is fully absorbed in love and ecstasy, he need only offer a flower and a little water. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachati. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9:26. The Supreme Lord can be pleased only by devotional service. Therefore, it is said here that the Lord is surely satisfied by devotion and nothing else. Quoting from the Gautamiya Tantra, the Hari Bhakti Vilas states, Tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulakena chava vikrinite swamatmanam bhaktevyo bhaktavatsala. Shri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulsi leaf and a palm full of water. The Supreme Lord is so causelessly merciful upon his devotee, so much so that even the poorest of men can offer him a little water and a flower in devotion, and thus please him. This is due to his affectionate dealings with his devotees. Text 7. Atanayapina bhavata ijya yoru bhara bharaya samuchitam artam ihopala bhamahe. We have engaged in your worship with many things, and have offered sacrifices unto you. But we think that there is no need for so many arrangements to please your lordship. Purport. Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one is offered varied foods but has no appetite, the offering has no value. In a big sacrificial ceremony, There may be many things accumulated to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if there is no devotion, attachment, or love for the Lord, the arrangement is useless. The Lord is complete in himself, and he does not need anything from us. However, if we offer him a little water, a flower, and a tulsi leaf, he will accept them. Bhakti, devotional service, is the main way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not a question of arranging huge sacrifices. The priests were regretful, thinking that they were not on the path of devotional service, and that their sacrifice was not pleasing to the Lord. This is such an important purport. We always have to remember the Lord doesn't need anything from us. We're not doing a service, really. The Lord is being merciful to us by accepting offerings, but He doesn't need anything from us. So the only thing that matters is bhakti. That's the only thing He's. Atmana evanusavanam anjasa vyatirekshena bobhuyamana ashesha purushartha sarupasya kintu nata ashisha ashasananam etat abhisamradhana matram bhavitum arhati. All of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Wait, let me reread that. All of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Okay? Indeed, you are unlimited Indeed, you are unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benedicted by your Lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results, and they are not actually needed by you. Purport. Being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activity for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interests. Yagyartat karmanonyatra loko yam karma bandhana. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, it just says, If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residence, and he does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. This is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, he is pleased with us and gives us benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or other receive blessings and benedictions from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified, and we can become eligible to return home, back to Godhead. Let me just see, are there any comments? Okay. And I can actually see the comments in YouTube, just not on Facebook, because I have it open on YouTube right now. Oh, wait. Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just make sure. Okay, perfect. All right. Tadyata balishanam swayam atmana shreya param avidusham parama parama purusha prakarsha karunaya swamahimanam chapavargakyam upakalpaishyan swayam napachita evetaravad iho palakshita. O Lord of Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the process of liberation, because we do not actually know the goal of life. You have appeared personally before us, like a person soliciting worship, but actually, you are present here just so that we can see you. You have come out of your abundant and causeless mercy in order to serve our purpose, our interest, and give us the benefit of your personal glory called apavarga, liberation. You have come, although you are not properly worshipped by us due to our ignorance. Purport. Lord Vishnu was personally present at the sacrificial arena, but this does not mean that he had any interest in his own personal benefit. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha, the deity in the temple, is present for the same purpose. Out of his causeless mercy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead presents himself before us so that we can see him. Since we have no transcendental vision, we cannot see the spiritual Satchidananda Vigraha of the Lord. Therefore, out of his causeless mercy, he comes in a form we can see. We can only see material things, like stone and wood, and therefore he accepts a form of stone and wood, and thus accepts our service in the temple. This is an exhibition of the Lord's causeless mercy. Although he has no interest in such things, in order to receive our loving service, he agrees to act as he does. We cannot actually offer suitable paraphernalia for the Lord's worship because we are completely ignorant. It was out of his causeless mercy that the Lord appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Nābhi. Atayam eva varo hyarhatama yarhi barhishi rajarsher varadarshabo bhavan nija purushekshana vishaya asit. I'm on text 10, if anybody needs to know. O most worshipable of all, you are the best of all benefactors, and your appearance at saintly King Nābhi's sacrificial arena is meant for our benediction. Because you have been seen by us, you have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction. Purport. Nija Purusha Ikshana Vishaya. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. Whoever renders devotional service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is equal to everyone. In that sense, he has no enemies and no friends. Everyone is enjoying the fruitive reactions of his own work, and the Lord, within everyone's heart, is observing and giving everyone the desired result. However, just as the devotees are always anxious to see the Supreme Lord satisfied in every way, similarly, the Lord is very anxious to present himself before his devotees. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium. Thus, Krishna's appearance is for the deliverance and satisfaction of his devotees. Actually, he does not advent himself simply to kill the demons, for that can be done by his agents. Lord Vishnu's appearance at the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Nābhi was just to please the king and his assistants. Otherwise, there is no reason for his being present there. Yeah, that was a really beautiful sentence, Manjari. However, just as the devotees are always anxious to see the Supreme Lord satisfied in every way, similarly, the Supreme Lord is very anxious to present himself before his devotees. Yeah, it's beautiful. Asanga Nishita Jnanala, I'm going to look at the word for word, it's so much easier. Viduta Ashesha Malanam Bhavat Swabhavanam Atma Aramanam Muninam Anavarata Parigunita Gunagana Mangala Ayana Gunagana Katana Asi. Dear Lord, all the great sages who are thoughtful and saintly persons incessantly recount your spiritual qualities. These sages have already burned up all the unlimited dirty things, and by the fire of knowledge, strengthened their detachment from the material world. Thus they have attained your qualities and are self-satisfied. Yet, even for those who feel spiritual bliss in chanting your attributes, your personal presence is very rare. Purport. The priests in Maharaj Nābhi's sacrificial arena appreciated the personal presence of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and they considered themselves very much obliged. The Lord's appearance is rare even for great saintly persons who have become completely detached from this material world and whose hearts are clean due to constantly chanting the glories of the Lord. Such people are satisfied by chanting the transcendental qualities of the Lord. The Lord's personal presence is not actually required. The priests are pointing out that the Lord's personal presence is very rare, even for such elevated sages, but that he was so kind to them that now he was personally present. Therefore, the priests were very much obliged. My God, I think this prose goes on till, oh my God, it goes on forever. Okay. Atha katanchit skalana kshut patana drimbana duravastana adishu vivashanam nas maranaya jvara marana dashayam api sakala kakashmala nirasasanani tava guna krita namadhyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. Dear Lord, and this is text 12. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death when there is a high fever. We therefore pray to you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your holy names, attributes, and activities, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. Purport. The real success in life is Ante Narayana Smriti, remembering the holy name, attributes, activities, and form of the Lord at the time of death. Although we may be engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the temple, material conditions are so tough and inevitable that we may forget the Lord at the time of death due to a disease condition or mental derangement. Therefore, we should pray to the Lord to be able to remember his lotus feet without fail at the time of death, when we are in such a precarious condition. In this regard, one may also see Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 2, verses 9 to 10, and verses 14 to 15. Kinchayam rajarshir apatya kama prajam bhavadrishim ashasana ishvaram ashisham swarga pavargayor api bhavantam upadhavati prajayam artha pratyayo dhanam iva dhana falikaranam. Dear Lord, here is the great King Nābhi, whose ultimate goal in life is to have a son like you. Your Lordship, his position is like that of a person approaching a very rich man and begging for a little grain. Maharaj Nābhi is so desirous of having a son that he is worshipping you for a son, although you can offer him any exalted position, including elevation to the heavenly planets or liberation back to Godhead. Purport. The priests were a little ashamed that King Nābhi was performing a great sacrifice just to ask the Lord's benediction for a son. The Lord could offer him promotion to the heavenly planets or to the Vaikuntha planets. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us how to approach the Supreme Lord and ask him for the ultimate benediction. He said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. He did not want to ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. Material opulence means riches, a nice family, a good wife, and many followers. But an intelligent devotee doesn't ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. His only prayer is Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatar Bhaktir Ahituki Tvai. He wants to be engaged perpetually in the loving service of the Lord. He does not want promotion to the heavenly planets, or mukti, liberation from material bondage. If this were the case, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have said Mama Janmani Janmani. It doesn't matter to a devotee whether or not he takes birth life after life, as long as he remains a devotee. Actually, eternal liberty means returning home back to Godhead. A devotee is never concerned about anything material. Although Nābhi Maharaj wanted a son like Vishnu, wanting a son like God is also a form of sense gratification. A pure devotee wants only to engage in the Lord's loving service. Ko va ihate parajito parajitaya mayaya navasita padavyana vrita matir vishaya visha rayanavrita prakritir anupasita mahatcharana. Dear Lord, unless one worships the lotus feet of great devotees, one will be conquered by the illusory energy, and his intelligence will be bewildered. Indeed, who has not been carried away by the waves of material enjoyment which are like poison? Your illusory energy is unconquerable. No one can see the path of this material energy or tell how it is working. Purport. Maharaj Nābhi was inclined to performing great sacrifices for begetting a son. The son might be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but such a material desire, be it great or insignificant, is brought about by the influence of Maya. A devotee does not at all desire anything for sense gratification. Devotion is therefore explained as devoid of material desires, anya bilashita shunya. Everyone is subjected to the influence of Maya and entangled in all kinds of material desire. And Maharaj Nābhi was no exception. Freedom from Maya's influence is possible when one engages in the service of the great devotees, Mahat Charana Seva. Without worshipping the lotus feet of a great devotee, one cannot be freed from Maya's influence. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keba. Who has been freed from Maya's clutches without serving the lotus feet of a Vaishnav? Maya is aparajita, and her influence is also aparajita. Aparajita means unconquerable. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durattaya. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. Only a devotee can surpass Maya's great influence. It was no fault on Maharaj Nābhi's part that he wanted a son. He wanted a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the best of all sons. By the association of the Lord's devotee, one By the association of the Lord's devotee, one no longer desires material opulence. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2254. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. And Madhya 2251. Mahat Kripa Vina Kono Karme Bhakti Noy, Krishna Bhakti Dure Rahu Sangsar Nahe Kshoy. We learned both of these shlokas in our shloka class. If one is serious about escaping Maya's influence and returning home back to Godhead, one must associate with a sadhu, a devotee. That is the verdict of all scriptures. By the slight association of a devotee, one can be freed from the clutches of Maya. Without the mercy of the pure devotee, one cannot get freedom by any means. Certainly, a pure devotee's association is necessary in order to obtain the loving service of the Lord. One cannot be freed from Maya's clutches without sadhusanga. The benediction of a great devotee. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 7.5.32, Prahlāda Maharaj says, Naisham matistavarukramanggrim sprishat anartha pagamo yarartha mahiya sampada rajobhishekam nishkinchananam navrinitayavat. One cannot become the Lord's pure devotee without taking the dust of a great devotee on his head. Pado rajobhishekam. A pure devotee is niskinchana. He has no material desire to enjoy the material world. One has to take shelter of such a pure devotee in order to attain his qualities. The pure devotee is always free from the clutches of Maya and her influence. These are really beautiful purports, huh? Oh, and Rupa Manjari is saying the purport is a little confusing because wanting to serve the Lord as a son doesn't seem material. And yeah, Srila Prabhupada just mentioned that, didn't he? Right? See, he said it's no fault on Maharaj Nābhi's part that he wanted a son, because he wanted a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Yar uha vava tava punar adhabra kartar iha samahutas tatrartha dhyam mandanam nastadhyad deva helanam deva devarhasi samyena sarvam prativodhum avidusham. O Lord, you perform many wonderful activities. Our only aim was to acquire a son by performing this great sacrifice. Therefore, our intelligence is not very sharp. We are not experienced in ascertaining life's goal. By inviting you to this negligible sacrifice for some material motive, we have certainly committed a great offense at your lotus feet. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, please excuse our offense because of your causeless mercy and equal mind. Please forgive our offense. Purport. The priests were certainly unhappy to have called the Supreme Lord from Vaikuntha for such an insignificant reason. A pure devotee never wants to see the Lord unnecessarily. The Lord is engaged in various activities, and the pure devotee does not want to see him whimsically for his own sense gratification. The pure devotee simply depends on the Lord's mercy, and when the Lord is pleased, he can see him face to face. The Lord is unseen even by demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. By calling on the Supreme Lord, the priests of Nābhi Maharaj proved themselves unintelligent. Nonetheless, the Lord came out of his causeless mercy. All of them, therefore, wanted to be excused by the Lord. Worship of the Supreme Lord for material gain is not approved by authorities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.16, Chatur vida bhajante mam jana sukritinor artha jigyasur jnani cha bharatarshava. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Initiation into bhakti begins when one is in a distressed condition or in want of money, or when one is inquisitive to understand the absolute truth. Nonetheless, people who approach the Supreme Lord in this way are not actually devotees. They are accepted as pious, sukritina, due to their inquiring about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not knowing the various activities and engagements of the Lord, such people unnecessarily disturb the Lord for material gain. However, the Lord is so kind that even though disturbed, he fulfills the desires of such beggars. The pure devotee is anyabhilashita shunya. He has no motive behind his worship. He is not conducted by the influence of Maya in the form of karma or gyan. The pure devotee is always prepared to execute the order of the Lord without personal consideration. The Ritvija, interesting. Here Srila Prabhupada is calling them Ritvija, not the Ritvik. The Ritvija, the priest at the sacrifice, knew very well the distinction between karma and bhakti, and because they considered themselves under the influence of karma, fruit of activity, they begged the Lord's pardon. They knew that the Lord had been invited to come for some paltry reason. Sorry guys, I don't know, I'm having a hard time reading. They knew that the Lord had been invited to come for some paltry reason. Text 16. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Iti nagadena abhishtuyamana Bhagavan animishashabo varsha dharabhivadita bhivandita charana sadayam idam aha. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, the priests who were even worshipped by King Nābhi, the emperor of Bharatavarsha, offered prayers in prose, generally they were in poetry, and bowed down at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord of Lords, the ruler of the demigods, was very pleased with them, and he began to speak as follows. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Aho bataham rishayo bhavarbhir avitata girbhir varam asulabham abhiyachito yad amusyat majo maya sadrisho bhuyad iti mamaham eva bhirupa kaivalyad atapi brahmavado namrisha bhavitum arhati mamaiva himukam yad dvija deva kulam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, O great sages, I am certainly very pleased with your prayers. You are all truthful. You have prayed for the benediction of a son like me for King Nābhi, but this is very difficult to obtain. Since I am the Supreme Person without a second, and since no one is equal to me, another personality like me is not possible to find. In any case, because you are all qualified Brahmins, your vibration should not prove untrue. I consider the Brahmins who are well qualified with Brahminical qualities to be as good as my own mouth. Purport. The word avitatta girbi means they whose spoken vibrations cannot be nullified. The Brahmins, Dvija, the twice-born, are given a chance by the Shastric regulations to become almost as powerful as the Supreme Lord. Whatever a Brahmin speaks cannot be nullified or changed in any circumstance. According to the Vedic injunctions, a Brahmin is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, in all rituals, a Brahmin is offered food, Brahman Bhojana, because when a Brahmin eats, it is considered that the Supreme Lord himself eats. Bangsi Prabhu, I remember he was saying that in his village in Odisha, there's like the most senior Brahmin there, most respected Brahmin, and people would always invite him to their house to feed him. And he was huge. He was like ginormous, and they'd feed him so much, and he'd eat so much and eat and eat and eat until finally he would just he wouldn't get up. He would just lay down right there, right next to his plate. And then his sons would have to lift each leg and each arm and carry him out. Okay, sorry, I just remembered that. Similarly, whatever a Brahmin speaks cannot be changed. It must act. The learned sages who were priests at Maharaj Nābhi's sacrifice were not only Brahmins, but were so qualified that they were like devas, demigods, or God himself. If this were not the case, how could they invite Lord Vishnu to come to the sacrificial arena? God is one, and God does not belong to this or that religion. Wow. God is one, and God does not belong to this or that religion. In Kali Yuga, different religious sects consider their God to be different from the God of others. But that is not possible. God is one, and he is appreciated according to different angles of vision. In this verse, the word Kaivalyat means that God has no competitor. There is only one God. In the Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.8, it is said, Natat shamas chabhyadikash chajushrate. No one is found to be equal to him or greater than him. That is the definition of God. Tata agnidriye Amsha Kalayavatara. Oh God, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading this. Kalayavatarishyamatulyam Anupalabhamana. Oh God, sorry guys, that was terrible. Avatarishyami Atmatulyam Anupalabhamana. Okay, that was better. Since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nābhi, the son of Agnidra. Purport. This is an example of the omnipotence. This is an example of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is one without a second, he expands himself by swangsa, his personal expansion, and sometimes by vibhinangsha, or his separated expansion. The Lord herein agrees to send his personal expansion as the son of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nābhi, who is the son of Agnidra. The Ritvija, the priests, knew that God is one. Yet they prayed for the Supreme Lord to become the son of Maharaj Nābhi, to let the world know that the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is one without a second. When he incarnates, he expands himself in different potencies. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Iti nishamayantya Meru Devya patim abhidhayantardade Bhagavan. Shukadev Goswami continued, after saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nābhi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken. Purport. According to the Vedic injunctions, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's own wife. Sapatniko dharmam acharit. Religious rituals should be performed with one's wife. Therefore, Maharaj Nābhi conducted his great sacrifice with his wife by his side. And this is the last verse. Text 20. Barhijri tasmin eva Vishnu datta Bhagavan Paramarshibi prasadito nabhe priya chikirshaya tar avarodhayane Meru devyam dharmam darshaitu kamo vata rashanam shramananam Rishanam Urdhva Mantinam Shuklaya Tanuvavatara. Yeah. O Vishnudatta Parikshit Maharaj. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased by the great sages at that sacrifice. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles as observed by brahmacharis, sannyasis, vanaprasthas, and grihasthas engaged in rituals, and also satisfy Maharaj Nābhi's desire. Consequently, he appeared as the son of Meru Devi in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature. Purport. When the Supreme Lord appears or descends as an incarnation within this material world, he does not accept a body made of the three modes of material nature, sattvagun, rajagun, and tamagun. Mayavadi philosophers say that the impersonal God appears in this material world by accepting a body in the sattvagun. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that the word shukla means consisting of Shuddha Sattva. Lord Vishnu descends in his Shuddha Sattva form. Shuddha Sattva refers to the Sattva gun, which is never contaminated. In this material world, even the mode of goodness, Sattva gun, is contaminated by tinges of Rajagun and Tamagun. When Sattva gun is never contaminated by Rajagun and Tamagun, it is called Shuddha Sattva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudevam Shabditam, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4.3.23. That is the platform of Vasudeva, whereby the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, can be experienced. In Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Sri Krishna himself says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Unlike ordinary living entities, the Supreme Lord is not forced by the modes of material nature to appear. He appears dharmam darshayitu kama. He appears to show how to execute the functions of a human being. The word dharma is meant for human beings and is never used in connection with beings inferior to human beings, such as animals. Unfortunately, without being guided by the Supreme Lord, human beings sometimes manufacture a process of dharma by concoction. Actually, dharma cannot be made by man. Dharmam tu shakshad bhagavat pranitam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 6.3.19. Dharma is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the law is given by the state government. Man-made dharma has no meaning. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam refers to man-made dharma as kaitava dharma, cheating religion. The Supreme Lord sends an avatar, an incarnation, to teach human society the proper way to execute religious principles. Such religious principles are bhakti marg. As the Supreme Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. The son of Maharaj Nābhi, Rishabhdev, appeared on this earth to preach the principles of religion. That will be explained in the 5th chapter of this 5th canto. Alright, it just now turned, 8 o'clock. So we will read the rest tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. bol, Hari bol, Nitai Gaur Hari bol, Nitai Gaur Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Nitai Gaur Hari bol. Oh, and Rup Manjari said, Ritvija is the plural of Ritvik. Okay, cool. Okay, Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Sai Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmar Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmar Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shara Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Braja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Pakshva Vardhini Mahadwarashi Titi Ki Jai Titi Palankari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindaye Tulsi Devaya Priyaye Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Sattvatāya Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyaye Pacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for joining me. I hope I can get my computer fixed somehow today. I hope it starts working all of a sudden, because this is a terrible time for it to stop working right before I go to Puri. Anyhow, I hope you all have a very inspiring Ekadashi. My God, I guess I'm going to have to, if I'm not able to get my computer going, I'm going to have to do all the Gaudiya Kirtan postings on my on this junky phone. Anyhow, whatever. Yeah, I'm doing a Gaudiya Kirtan posting, by the way, today. I finished writing it last night, and so I'll be sending it out. If you're not on the Gaudiya Kirtan mailing list, you can sign up on gaudiyakirtan.com. I'm going to end the stream now. Let's see if I can do this.